Good morning. Okay, let's talk about the storm last night.
Oh my goodness.
Insane, yeah?
Insanity. So I'm in Ahwatukee Foothills and I was talking to my sister. We're on FaceTime. It's my little nephew's birthday and it's perfectly sunny out. We're looking out and everything. And then all of a sudden, it's like pitch black in my house. And Millery, my daughter's like, Mommy, is it nighttime? That was quick. Yeah. I'm like, yes, go to bed.
Yeah. No, it was wild. I was actually like scrolling through Instagram and I actually saw meteorologist Crystal Ortiz starting to post over in the East Valley that she started to see the dust wall starting to move in from the East Valley. So I quickly turned on Fox 10 and our team was doing such a fantastic job last night tracking the storm. But it was the same thing. Like I was watching it get closer and closer to my house. That dust wall moved in, the wind picked up, and then the rain. Man, it was insane.
But thankfully, the rain did come because if you even just went outside, I remember I went outside just to obviously get a couple quick photos. The whole back of my phone was like covered in dust. Yeah, because I have on my personal phone here the little sticky, kind of the grippy one, and it was just like caked in dust. And then all of a sudden the rain came and it was awesome at that point because it kind of washed everything out.
That's true. Well, hopefully all of you at home didn't get too much damage because, I mean, it was a wild storm.
Did you lose power?
I did lose power for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Which the last storm that we had, I lost power for, maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Ooh, yeah, that's
So
not
as soon
fun.
as the light started flickering, I immediately ran over to the AC, cranked it way down to like try and
Blast
cool
yourself?
that. Yeah, try and cool the house down just in case. We lost power, but man, it was a wild night out there.
It was.
And you know who we always love to talk to when we have some of these storms? Our friend Mike. If you've ever watched Fox 10, we get to use Mike's photos quite often.
Yeah.
You're the Stormchaser extraordinaire, I should say. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well. Danielle, can you hear him?
Let me see.
Hold on. Give us 1 second. Okay, we should be good, Mike. Can we hear you again?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
There,
I hear him over there, but not in the headphones.
Okay, that's all right.
We're going to make it work.
We're going to make this work.
The storm
You
just
got your
throws
power
everything
back,
off.
so that's good. I'm sure there's still technical difficulties going on, right?
I think we do have some gremlins because we actually went off air here at Fox 10
lost
last
power
night from that massive storm.
I talked to John Hook last night, and they were holding the mic up or the phone up to their mic just to get the sound to work. So
whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes to get TV on the air, Mike. You know how this works. Let's talk about this because you have been here in the Valley for quite a while, and you chase storms kind of all around the Southwest and the Midwest too, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And let's talk about this storm in particular because this was one of those well-defined, perfect haboobs that started to roll in.
It was a doozy. Like it definitely vaulted all the way to number 2 on my list of dust storm haboob chases. The last good one was in 2018, and it was one that went basically from Casa Grande, Gila Bend, all the way to Yuma. So not even impacting, but it looked like this one. Like it was great, but nothing in the Phoenix area has looked like this since 2011. And so, of course, everybody's like, well, how does it compare? Does it look like that? Does it look like 2011? Do you think it's the same thing? And I think 2011 was a big deal. And this was just about the closest second you could get to that. It was, oh my gosh, it was awesome. We were down by Picacho Peak, and we kind of saw it emerging from west of there. I guess probably out of Tohono O'odham, where this wall of storms were pushing up, and we could see the shelf cloud and the dust underneath it. And we followed it all the way to Phoenix. And at one point by Eloy, I wasn't sure we were going to stay ahead of it. Wow. And I never had that problem. This thing was moving fast.
Yeah. And Crystal was mentioning that this morning on AZAM about the 2011 situation. I wasn't here for that, but she said it's very comparable. She was also saying that that's kind of where it originates typically, is right at that Picacho Peak area. And that's when you see that massive, it almost looks like a wave.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
And it just travels right up the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it did. And I had some people with me, and it looked really good approaching Eloy. But you're right, Picacho Peak, there's a lot of dust. And the big bulk of this originated, usually it comes off the Catalinas and goes through that area. But this also was coming from Tohono O'odham going straight north. And I was like, when it hits Eloy and Casa Grande, just wait. And it went from kind of like a wall of dust, and it hit Eloy, and all of a sudden density and folds and all this stuff started forming. And it just right before our eyes, it turned epic. And at Casa Grande, we were on the north side of it watching it, and there were other storm chasers there from out of town, and all these people, we had people, locals, and like a truck, these kids watching it freak out, and it just became this dense, beast. It was, you can see my face. For me, I love this stuff. So,
Well, Mike, we actually have a piece of your video that you sent us, and this is what you captured last night. I don't know if you can see it from where you are.
Yeah, I can see it. This was at the airport, so this was our last stop. I wanted to let it overtake us, and we just had nowhere else to go to get into town fast enough because this thing is moving. And the wide view of that right here is insane.
It almost looks
and
like
it just got better as they hit Phoenix too. That's what's incredible. And you see the clouds at the top, the wider clouds on top of the dust. That's like clouds forming at the top, which is right there. Is incredible.
Oh my gosh.
And how do you, I've always been, obviously we have here our radar and everything. As a storm chaser, what does your day look like? You said there was a lot of other people out there. Was this something that you guys were talking about in the industry? Like, hey, there's a big one going to hit tonight, or how does it work?
Well, I don't always like to tell people that stuff like this is going to happen, because then everybody gets all hyped up. And I told the people I was with, I go, hey, it's 50-50 that this even happens today. But basically, 36 hours before this happened, the models narrowed in on it. We use a model run that comes out every hour called the HRRR. Every hour for 36 hours, it had something like this. Just little different here and there, but super strong winds pushing, north of Casa Grande.
Wow.
And then you're sitting there watching the storms unfold, and it looks exactly like the model, except it's actually better to me from what the models were showing. And so you're prepared for it. You know what's going to happen. You can look at the models, what they think the wind's going to do, what the storms are going to do. And, we're prepared, and I wish I would have gotten a little more sleep the night before. I was out really late shooting the lightning over Phoenix at 3 a.m. But I got a couple hours sleep, but adrenaline and excitement overcomes all. So it was great.
Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not a meteorologist, right? This is just kind of years and years of kind of studying how these storms develop here in Arizona.
Yeah, I'm not, and it's weird how you learn a ton by osmosis, by friends, by chasing. And, yesterday there's like all this nerdy weather stuff where usually we don't get something like this, but there was actual shear, which kind of kept the storms alive. When this thing hit, we're at the airport, it went dark, as you guys were talking about earlier, like all the lights came on. And then we were sitting there for 10 minutes rocking around, maybe 15. And then all of a sudden it started clearing out. And then behind it was like a wall of rain. Yeah. Almost like, it was not hurricane, but there was trees getting knocked down. We were leaving the airport, and there was a lady out of her car trying to hold a tree up from blowing over.
Oh man.
And we were like, lady, you just got to let it go.
We don't recommend that.
But we don't get that kind of rain behind these things very often. It actually pushed all that dust out. And that's kind of unusual. All the way from the south, we had a wall of storms behind the dust where it actually just poured rain and strong winds. And it was that was a storm that I've not seen happen around these parts for years.
Yeah.
Mike, we're getting some pretty good questions from our viewers here in the chat. Someone is asking, how do you protect your photography equipment when you're in these crazy situations that you put yourself in?
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you protect yourself?
We're
all hiding out in our home.
I don't. So I had some people, like a local newspaper was following around. They happened to pick a really good day to go with me. And, I'm nervous because there's all these stops we did before here. I would leave early because I didn't want to get stuck in it. And I didn't know how, I don't want them to be out in the dust. But here, the videographer with us said, are we going to let it hit us? And I go, yeah, this is where it's going to hit us. And I wanted the dust to hit my cameras because, as you can see here, letting it kind of hit the camera really, complete the impact of the time lapse. And so how do I protect it? I really don't. I just let it hit and deal with it.
You have insurance on that, baby, I'm
Good
sure.
You don't work here at
I have insurance. I do this professionally. So if anything happens, I get it repaired or I can get it replaced. So
you would almost think it's like going to the beach the next day, the next month. You're just going to be chewing on, dust crystals.
And I had a friend point at me because I have a 4Runner and I had the whole back hatch up, and someone goes, Mike, your hatch is up right when it's hitting. I'm like, oh, well,
Oopsie.
Like there's already dust in there from the stuff this season. It's just going to get worse. And I just didn't worry about it. So.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you sharing this video. Do you have a couple more seconds so we can ask you a couple more questions, or do you have to go?
Absolutely. No, I'm good.
How did you kind of get into this, and how did this become your hobby? And now you kind of are our go-to guy whenever we have a storm. We're like, oh wait, we got to get on Mike's Instagram to see what he's finding.
Really, it was just born out of passion for storms. I'm born and raised here. I just turned 50 this year, so I've been here 50 years. My dad loved storms. We would sit outside and watch them, and so I grew up loving them. And if you're around here, I mean, what are we all talking about today? I mean, obviously the wall of dust was a big deal, but let's say we had no dust, but we had all the rain and wind and down trees go through. We'd all be talking about it. I mean, how nice was it last night and this morning out? The weather, it was breezy. It was like 80 degrees or something. It was, so that's what we all love. And so I just grew up being fascinated with lightning. And about 2008, 2009, I started getting into wanting to learn how to do lightning photography and then want to do time lapse. And I happened to want to start learning time lapse in July 5th, 2011, like the day before. And then the big dust storm happened then. And that set me on a path of like, holy crap, like this is really fun.
Yeah.
People wanted to license that footage and I would do it for free. And so then I just kept chasing and doing time lapse and stills. And it just blew up into, a career that, I do this full time and I do other photography and stuff, and it's a struggle, photography full time with 3 kids and stuff is a challenge. And, but I'm blessed to be able to do it. And just stuff like last night makes it just all worth it. You wait years and years to chase storms and see something like that. And some people are like, man, get inside. It's dusty. That's bad. It's bad for the environment, valley fever. Like all that stuff it's all true, but it's going to happen anyway. So I'm there to capture it, and it's nature. It's beautiful, and I love sharing it with people because people don't get to see that kind of stuff very much. There's people around the world right now seeing that who have never seen anything like that.
You're a daredevil.
Well, it's so funny because I woke up this morning. We were on the BBC, we were on the AP, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post. I mean, everybody was posting about us here in Phoenix. Yeah. We got about 20 seconds, Mike, but if folks want to follow you on Instagram, because your Instagram is incredible, what is it?
It's just Mike Olbinski on Instagram, and go to YouTube because I have this time lapse there and some other. I'm going to have a whole chase vlog, the whole story of the day.